electric guitars a little bit. We're going to pick up literally right where we left off because I haven't worked on it since. So anyways, we'll give, as people pop in and everything, feel free to comment, ask questions or whatever about what is going on, but I'll just talk my way through the mixing process. So let's go ahead and switch over to Pro Tools again. Now this is where we left off. This is the EQ that I had gotten set up on this electric guitar before I realized that the stream had gone haywire. So this is what we're looking at. So I did a high pass filter here at 100 hertz. Not super steep. I am going to change this to about 9 decibels per octave. Then I added sort of a really small cut in the mids. What this is going to do is I just know that this is probably where the lead vocal is going to live, so I'm just kind of setting this up to kind of give some room for the lead vocal. And then I made a small little notch around 1 kilohertz, as well as made a little boost around 2.5 kilohertz, as well as made a shelf at about 5 kilohertz. All right, so that's what we have done so far. Now I'm going to show you guys kind of what we are going to be doing with this. I'm going to show you guys what we're going to be doing with this real quick. I'm going to just share this in our Facebook group. And then we will get going. So let's see here. Okay, so here we go. So what I'm going to do with this, the whole purpose of having this little setup here, is I'm going to use these little notches to help give some space for the other electric guitar. So I'm going to copy this exact EQ over. And I'm going to click this little red button here so that I can open both EQs at the same time. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to flip-flop these EQ moves. So now this EQ is going to get cut here by about a dB. And this one is going to get boosted. Okay, I'm going to bypass both of these. I want you guys to hear how subtle of a difference these EQ moves are. Okay, so here's without. There's with. It's not a super big EQ move, okay? We're not doing anything super drastic. The goal is not, I see a lot of people when they're trying to do EQs, they want to sit here just like I'm doing in solo and make all these really complicated EQ moves to really drastically change the sound. That's not the goal. The goal of this EQ and the goal of EQing in general is to just get rid of nasty frequencies, but also to make room in the mix, right? So all I'm doing is I'm just very subtly changing the timbre of this guitar. You can see on my EQ here, here's the response curve, all right? When I apply this EQ, there's very subtle changes to the response curve. These subtle changes are what's going to make a big difference in the mix. So once again, A-B comparison of bypassed with on and on. So all it's doing is it's kind of like trimming off some of that really sub-low, low end, okay? Now let's solo in this other guitar, and we're going to A-B comparison with both of them, okay? So we're going to I'm going to exit out of these. We are going to, let's see here, bypass. Okay, here we go. So this is without. With. Now let's do the panning. Pan these 100, 100, 100. So if you're listening on good headphones, you're going to notice there's a very subtle difference. And all that is it's those two guitars are blending a little bit better in the mix. Okay. Now we're going to copy this third one. Now this one I am gonna really make some drastic moves here to just make it sound different than the others, okay? I'm actually gonna boost some low end. Let's see what that sounds like. I'm actually gonna cut some low end. Let's listen to it with the bass. That's going to be key. Okay. I think that's sounding pretty good. So let's listen with the bass, synth bass, acoustic instruments, and electric guitars. Let's hear what this is sounding like. Let's get to a place where they're all playing. How about that? Oh, I have not, I just realized that I did not open up my, Ableton session, that has holy water on it. So, okay, so now I should have all of my tracks. Yeah, that's sounding really good. That is sounding really good. Now we're gonna let's add the drums. So I'm gonna go to my all tracks here and add the drums in. Yeah, so I've been listening to this song a lot, and the thing that I really don't like about this song is I don't feel like the mandolin cuts through enough, so I'm really going to accentuate the mandolin on this song. I think it's a really nice element to it. I also really wish that they would have thrown in some like really cool like Sweet Home Alabama style piano licks, but you know, that's just what it is. There is no, like, the piano only comes in on one section of the multi-track, like right here in the bridge. And I wish that there was some cool little piano licks and little piano riffs in here, but they're not. So anyways, all right. So I'm really liking the sound that we've got so far. So now let's start looking at the vocals. Okay. Okay. So this is where some people are probably going to start, I don't know, getting a little offended, maybe, but I don't care. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just solo in first off to all the vocals and just listen to this chorus.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips.
All right.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips.
So I want the track background vocals to be there to kind of have that chorus, make it sound like a choir.
It's like sweet, sweet,
but I'm going to have it
on my lips.
down. Now here is, like I said, where I'm going to probably lose some friends over this, but it's okay. I'm going to use the M Auto Pitch plugin from Melda Audio. All right. And we are going to tune these vocals just a little bit. Now, if this were like something I was doing for a little bit larger scale of a production, then I would probably be doing more manual pitch correction. But for this kind of a project, we are going to do we're going to do an auto pitch correction. So an auto tune, if you will. So now here's the thing about this song. Okay. It's kind of weird. It's in this like D pentatonic type thing. So we're going to have to play around with the pitch correction a little bit. Okay. So just bear with me. We're going to find a good spot here. We're going to start just in the verse.
I'm on my knees again. God, I'm begging, please again. I need you. Oh, I need you. Walking down these desert roads, water for my thirsty soul. I need you. Oh, I need you. Your forgiveness. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
So there's some weird notes in this that aren't in a normal major or minor key. So using D major is not going to work, but also using D minor is not going to work.
I'm on my knees again. God, I'm begging, please again. I need you. Oh, I need you.
But using D pentatonic won't work.
Walking down these desert roads, water for my thirsty soul. I need you.
So that's not going to work either.
Oh, I need you.
I think we're stuck with chromatic.
Your forgiveness. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I have a fast retune speed, but a very low depth. Now, if I put this at 100% depth and 100% retune speed, this is what it sounds like.
I'm on my knees again. God, I'm begging, please.
It sounds really bad, okay, when we do that. So I'm going to mess with the depth. I don't want it to have a ton of pitch correction. I just want a little bit, okay? And the retune speed I'm going to play with.
I'm on my knees again. God, I'm begging, please again. I need you. Oh, I need you.
Let's go to a chorus. So that sounds pretty good. Now we're going to apply pitch correction to the background vocals, which actually I don't think we have a vocal for. No, we don't. Okay, so I'm going to right click this and click hide and make inactive. I just don't need it.
Sweet, sweet honey on my lips.
Now, on background vocals, I will put a lot more pitch correction. So these are going to be a little bit more noticeable, okay? And there's a purpose for this.
Sweet, sweet honey on my lips. Sound of a symphony in my ears. Like holy water on my skin.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like sound of a symphony in my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like sound of a symphony in my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
So that's kind of a decent vocal blend there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and sort of try to clean these up just a little bit. So I'm going to real quick disable my pitch correction and just drag it down here. I'm going to just try something. Our lead vocal has a lot of room reverb in it. I'm going to just try removing this with Isotope's RX7D reverb. It may work, it may not. It's just kind of an idea. So we're going to solo in on this. I'm going to put this in learn mode.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
Okay, I like the way that sounds a little bit better. I know that it makes it sound a little bit darker.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like sound of a symphony to my ears.
But I think we can work with it. Okay, so now what we're going to do, once again, as you guys could probably guess, Slate Digital Infinity EQ, kind of a mainstay of my workflow these days. Put a pretty steep 12 decibel per octave curve here. Let's listen to this. I want to set this up, make sure this is set up on loop. It is.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like sound.
There's some lowness that I want to find.
Oh, it's like holy
right there.
water on my skin.
And I'm going to cut it until it sounds good.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water.
There's also
on
some
my
weirdness up
skin.
here going on that I'm going to try and fix.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips.
Okay, it's right around the second octave. So a lot of times, and this is something you have to pay attention to with EQ. So notice right around here at this 272 mark, there was a weird sound and I cut it. But notice right around 1.7K, there was also that. So every frequency has harmonics. And basically what's happening is this is the, like, probably the third order harmonic of this note. So even though I cut this note, its relatives, its harmonics are still causing issues in the mix. And so I've got to address those harmonics as well.
It's like sweet, sweet
I'm going to give her a little boost around here.
It's like the sound of a symphony to
I'm
my
going to cut that
ears.
actually.
Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my...
Now notice when I'm about to make these big EQ moves, I go very narrow on my bands. Okay, because I'm trying to notch out these weird frequencies. Notice right there's the fundamental. This is like around the first harmonic. This is around the second harmonic. So it's this note is the problem, but this is the resonant, the remnants of it. And notice I'm not cutting the harmonics as much as I'm cutting the fundamentals, because every harmonic is quieter than the fundamental. So the fundamental is getting the most cut, and then the harmonics are getting a lesser amount of cut.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips.
So that's cleaning things up a little bit better. Now let's do this with the other vocals.
Sweet, sweet honey on my lips. Sound of symphony in my ears. Holy water on my skin.
So with a background vocal, I will do some much more drastic EQ moves because they're a background vocal.
Sweet, sweet honey on my lips. Sound of symphony in my ears. Holy water on...
Now what I'm doing here, I do this a lot of times with the background vocals. I'll actually use a low pass filter here to get rid of a lot of the high end frequencies on my background vocal. So I'm actually using like this band pass type filter here. And what that's going to allow me to do is it automatically is going to make this background vocal sound further away in the mix, which is what I want.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. Like the sound of a symphony to my ears. It's like holy. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
Good. Sounds good. Let's listen to what this sounds like as a whole mix now.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound.
Cool. So now we will start, let's listen to just a little bit of the song and see kind of what it's sounding like. And I'm going to now work on getting kind of a rough mix. So I'm going to listen to the song, start to finish and get kind of a rough mix of the song now that I've kind of just gone through and addressed some of the problems in solo, and we're going to go there. So here we go. So what you guys will see me doing for this electric guitar one is I'm kind of writing down some notes of things that I think need to be fixed on it, things that might need to be automated later in the mixing process. Okay, so I think we are in a good place here. So now I'm going to start working on this lead vocal. Now, I've been listening to this song a lot. I've been excited to mix this song simply because of the lead vocal. And so we're going to work on this now. So I'm going to put a chorus in loop here, and we're going to solo in on the lead vocal.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
So I'm going to give her a very short plate reverb.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears.
Just like that. There's going to be quite a bit of that reverb because I'm kind of basing this off of the studio recording, okay?
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey.
Now we're going to add distortion.
It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears.
All right, so we got to work on our distortion sound. That was pretty stinging loud. I apologize.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
Let's try this distortion plug-in.
Like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
All right, let's listen to that.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
Let's listen to it in the mix.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. Oh, my skin.
So let's hear it in the chorus now.
Like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. Like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
I don't know. That distortion is not gritty enough for me. I need a very gritty distortion. Let's see what this sounds like.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears.
All right. We're getting there. We are getting there. So now let's go into, we're going to do the Slate Virtual. Oh, that's the wrong thing. That's virtual bus compressors. Don't want that. I need a virtual mix rack. I'm going to just use a preset here for exciting vocals and see what that sounds like. We're going to start there.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips.
I love that sound.
It's like the sound of
So the one thing that I will say about these Slate presets is a lot of times they are not properly gain staged, and so they add a lot of gain. So I'm going to fix this using the trimmer plugin.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
Yeah, so that compression really helped out the vocals. So let's hear like a later chorus.
It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water. Your forgiveness. Oh, it's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. It's like holy water on my skin. Oh, it's like holy water.
All right. Sounds pretty stinking good right now. I just put a little bit of bus compression on the background vocal bus just to kind of help them blend together a little bit. Let's see here. What else do I think we need to do? Okay, so one of the things we will need to do is DS. So for vocals, I like, where is it? Oh, sibilance. I'm literally sitting right on it. I like sibilance for de-essing.
Like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. Sound of a symphony to my ears.
I'm also going to put this,
It's like holy
I'm also going to put the sibilance plugin on my distortion. And then I'm going to just kind of, I'm going to copy that.
I don't wanna be. It's like sweet, sweet.
Sweet honey on my lips.
Yeah, that sounds good, even though that's the female vocal.
Symphony in
My
my
ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. Oh, my skin. It's like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony to my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin.
So yeah, that's it. One of the things I'm going to add here is a new plugin that I'm going to be messing around with called Vocal Writer. And what Vocal Writer does is it essentially rides the vocal fader without me having to actually physically go in and do the vocal rides. So what it'll do is when the vocal gets quiet, it'll turn it up a little bit. When it gets loud, it'll turn it down in this specific range. So like, for instance, we'll go to say verse 1 and you can see this plugin in action.
I'm on my knees again. Gotta beg and please again. I need you. Oh, I need you. Walking down these desert roads, water for my thirsty soul. I need you. Oh, I need you. Your forgiveness. It's like sweet, sweet honey on
So now I'm going to listen at really low volumes. I think my lead vocals are a little loud. So I think the guitars are masking the vocal a little bit. So I'm going to try this out. So what I'm going to do here, since I think the guitars are masking the vocals, what I'm going to do is while the guitar is singing, I'm going to mute the guitars and see if I hear the vocal better. That's how you know if there's frequency masking going on. Yeah, so there is a little bit. So I'm going to route all of these. Well, we already have a guitar bus. It's just not showing up in our all tracks. Is there anything else? Okay. So I've got my guitar bus for just this reason. This is why I will always bus multiple tracks together. Okay, so one, this has a channel strip here that should be pulling from the lead vocal sidechain, which I have not set up. So I'm going to do this. Lead vocal sidechain. Let's see if that helps a little bit. Go back to that chorus. So what I just did there, one, I adjusted my channel strip so that the lead vocal is causing the electric guitars to compress. And then I also boosted the EQ a little bit to find where that frequency masking is happening with the guitars and just kind of cut some of that out. So that's what that is. Now I think at this point I'm going to start messing with bus compression on the master bus. Okay, so I'm trying out this new SSL G Compressor. I'm going to see what kind of presets there are. There's a lot of presets. Let's try this punch preset. Good, so I'm going to now go to the B setting. There we go. So I'm going to load up another one on the B setting. Let's see what this Dave Pensato one is. Well, I think I'm going to just go with a plugin that I know. I'm going to go with the FG Moo. This is a Fairchild compressor here, and they've got a really nice aggressive high pass preset that I like. So we'll see where that's at. Just a slight amount. So I was just hearing a little bit of a buildup in that like 600K range. So I removed like 0.29 decibels, 0.30 decibels, not a whole lot.
Like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. Sound of the symphony in my ears. Oh, it's like holy water on my skin. Oh, slim. I don't wanna be so crazy. Gotta need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really.
All right, now we're going to go in through the intro and start looking at, just listen to it from top to bottom again now that we've done some kind of balancing and, you know, effects and stuff, and figure out where I want to do any kind of rides or automation. right, so we're gonna clean up that little bit at the end there with our lead vocal. Just where is that? We're gonna just go ahead and trim all the vocals here. Just like that. Just to kind of clean that up. Okay. So now we're going to do some track automation. I've got an idea of what I want to do. Let's see here. What is the guitar at the outro here? It does something cool. Yeah. I'm going to just do this for the whole electric guitars. So I'm going to say to automate reverb at end. Okay, so I need to mute this during verse 1. And then fix, because that will ultimately throw off where the lead vocal is during verse 1, possibly. So what we're going to do, we're going to see what this sounds like with the lead vocal distortion turned off. Okay, so the vocal does need to go up just like maybe 2 dB, or really 1 dB. So that's what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to go to my vocals and make my lead vocal a little bit bigger. So right there. So I'm going to just overall, okay, we're going to put this in volume mode. Overall, I'm just going to boost the verse by like 1 dB. That's it. Verse 1, 1 dB. So there's that. Now what we got to do, the lead vocal distortion is not a part of my vocal memory thing. So, all right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlatch the mute. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make the same selection for like right here and then mute it for there. So now... That is not the right selection. I apologize. So I need like right around here to here. Yeah, so now let's listen to it. So there's that. And then that's how the vocal is going to stay for the entire song. So I'm going to put that back into waveform view. Okay, so now on the instruments, I've got to do some automation on this lead guitar line. So, all right, so what we're going to do is like for here, all the way to there, we need to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, yeah, so starting like here to there, we're going to automate the pan so that it is in the center. And we are also going to automate the volume. Make it like around here. Okay. So now what we're going to do, so the pan is going to go back to normal. We need to do the same thing on this turnaround. So we're going to pan that, turn around back to the center, boost the volume by about 2 dB. See what this interlude is. Okay, so that's all the automation we need to do on that one. I just decided that during verse 2, what I want to do, or verses 3 and 4, I want to lower the distortion just a little bit. So I lowered those by about 2 dB, so I need to boost her by about 2 dB. Gotta fix that. All right, now we're going to listen to the whole song again. So one last little automation move that I had forgotten to make. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to copy my drum reverb over to my instrument verb. So I'm actually going to drag this like over here real quick just so that I can get it. But I'm going to copy this really big room reverb. It's like stadium reverb type thing over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a send to the this track. Okay, and then I'm going to just go to like the end. So all I'm going to do is right there at the end. Let me go into my instruments here because I should have my instrument verb, or well, I need my electric guitar bus. Okay, so let's find where that starts. So it looks like it's around like 85 beat 2. So we'll say 85 beat 3. Yeah, so right there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to automate this send, the level. Okay, and at this point, it's going to be negative infinity, and then at the end, by the end, it's going to be like all the way up at 12. So it's going to sound something like this. We'll try this out. So let's hear that again. Okay, so I do want good. Okay, last and final step for this thing is I'm just going to throw in a quick mastering plugin just to bring this up to a broadcast level. This is by no means a like legit mastering job by any means. This is just a quick way to kind of get a decent master. So I'm going to disable SonarWorks Reference 4. Now I'm going to go over here to Isotope, Ozone 9. And from here, I'm just going to use the mastering assistant. So I'm going to turn the volume down. So hopefully you guys aren't, you know, this could get loud. So. All right. So what this Ozone 9 plugin is doing, we've got a little bit of an EQ here. We've got a little bit of a dynamic EQ that's helping transparency, and then we've got a limiter that is maximizing our volume level to about somewhere usually around like 12 to 14 LUFS, which is kind of where the standard loudness, that's kind of what the standard loudness scale is. So with that, we are ready to bounce down kind of a rough mix. So I'm going to bounce this down now. I'm going to bounce down just a rough, let's see. So I'm just going to bounce down kind of a rough draft, and then we will see where that takes us. So my settings are an interleaved wave file, 24-bit depth, 48 kilohertz. I'm going to label this Holy Water Rough Mix 1, because there is a very good possibility that there will be more than one rough mix. So anyways, that's where this mix is at right now. It's going to live like this for just a little bit. It's bouncing down, so it takes a little while longer with this rewire plugin running. But essentially, that gets me through an entire mix. What we will do later is, as I've listened to it, maybe after a few hours of giving it some listening and figuring out what it needs, then I'll either declare this is good, this is bad, fix it, and then we'll go back to the drawing board sometimes and just until we get it finalized. So it's a lot of it's quite a bit of work getting a mix that is usable and translates to different speaker types. I usually like to listen to my mixes on the crappiest speakers that I can when I'm testing them out, because even though I have my studio monitors here that are nice higher quality speakers, most people aren't going to listen to that or listen through that. So I like to traditionally listen on just my car speakers or whatever crappy speakers I can, to try and give myself the best idea of what other people are going to be listening to. So anyways, that is gonna be it for this live stream. So that kind of takes you through a little bit of the mixing process. I know there's times where I probably should have talked and I didn't, just because I'm so used to doing this, but hopefully you guys have seen a little bit of my mixing workflow. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them or shoot us an email. Look on our website and everything like that to find our contact info. But anyways, with all that, we might do another little series like this in the future, talking about some more live mixing and just kind of how it goes depending on how people take to this one. But anyways, guys, that's it for this live stream / video. So until next time, keep on innovating.